Okay.
Hi, I hope I'm audible. I see we got many students today. First, let me introduce about myself, and then we will try to understand about, you know, I'll give introduction to databases and SQL. Actually, the last Friday I took one demo. We covered some concepts, but I'll repeat it once again, and then we'll continue with the previous class, okay? Because we got some students, new students today. So first of all, I'm Divya. I have about 8+ years of experience into data analytics. I completed my master's in data science, and I have experience in teaching all the data science subjects like SQL, Tableau, Power BI, Python, statistics, and machine learning. Currently with DurgaSoft, I'm working with MySQL and Tableau. Okay, so this is the course content which we will cover in our course, and the course duration is of 35 days. That is 35 sessions I'll take. Usually the classes will be from Monday to Friday. Okay. Uh, Going forward, I'll just show you the course content which we will cover in this course. Okay. First, as I said, we covered some concepts on the previous class, but as we got new students today, let me start everything from scratch. Okay, I'll try to repeat the concepts which we covered.
Yeah, sorry to stop you, Divya. So,
Yes,
this is Surya again. I have few questions. So, can I ask now, or can we discuss after the
uh,
call? Or
go ahead, please ask.
so actually, if you remember last time, my question is, I am looking for cluster setups as well, like
Correct. Data
DB,
admin
all
role.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So my extended question is, so my plan is actually I need to learn something like Postgres and MS SQL and complete MySQL. I mean, including this, I told you right, advanced concepts like cluster also. So to learn all these, as per her, I mean, whatever I heard, minimum basics of SQLs are mandatory. So,
Correct.
is this session, whatever you are covering for these 35 days, are mandatory for me to learn future MySQL cluster concepts, Postgres, and MSQL, or it's not required? I mean,
Yeah, some concepts are required, like not
okay,
the very advanced concepts like cities, that concepts are not required. But
okay.
half of the concepts which I am going to cover in this course will be required for you, for even for the admin role.
Okay, so it's something like pure admin role, whatever. I mean, last time, if you remember, last time I told. So
Yes.
purely whatever currently working on the cluster setup, managing the clusters. It's a huge cluster setup, like and
Okay.
installing MySQL and troubleshooting, something like and doing an admin work. So whatever I saw in this few days, we never worked on this any of these select queries, all those. So, I mean, what's your I mean, it's purely I'm looking for a suggestion from you. So, what's your suggestion? So, is it a
Actually, you can
mandatory?
directly
Mm.
join any admin course also. They will cover the very basics of SQL, whatever needed. Because this is completely a developer role, and as I understood, you are looking completely for the admin role, correct?
Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah. I
it's
mean, that's I
better to
don't know the
join.
difference
Yes, yes,
between the
correct,
admin and.
correct. The very basics of SQL developer concepts are required for you, but you can get that even in the admin role also. Just so join that course, it will be better.
Okay. So, do you have any idea? I mean, whether in DurgaSoft are we covering any admin?
I don't know,
Okay.
Surya. Sorry.
Okay. So, this is purely like
Developer role,
developer.
SQL developer role, or whoever looking forward for, like, maybe into data analytics or Python developer. For all the developer roles, SQL is required as a basic subject, I can say. So
Okay.
only for the developer role, you need to,
Okay.
I'm just covering those those topics.
Okay. Okay. And suppose if I want to continue this one also, I mean, as
Mhm.
you told, some part of something like half part or 30% of this part will be
Yeah,
useful for my career. So may I know till how much? I mean, from the, I mean, course
maybe till
content if
joins is enough for you.
okay.
Till joins up to here.
Up to here. Okay. I mean, based on that, I can join this and mainly concentrate till joins. Later, I can based on the requirement and availability, I can
You
continue.
can
That's
do
what.
that also, but
Yeah.
or else if you find any, other,
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't find any. So this is a one very good. I really like the demo session, whatever you have given last 2 days. I'm really
thank you.
impressive. It's very good, and that's the reason. So okay, so net I understood. And one last question, I would want to consume your time. So
Yes, please.
from from when the actual sessions are going to start?
Maybe couple of days, just 2 days.
2 days. Huh? Okay,
Mm.
okay.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, Divya.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, guys, let's continue. So as we
Divya,
got,
Divya, proceed to before
yes,
this.
Ajay.
Hello.
Yes, yes,
I'm
please.
Ajay. I joined today only.
Yes, yes, Ajay.
My requirement is for the data engineer.
Data engineer, this
So,
is a perfect course. Yeah.
that is what. So their requirement is PostgreSQL.
Okay.
So is it helpful for? I'm a new to this SQL.
Okay.
So I'm a very new. I don't know any ABCD in it. So their
Okay.
requirement is Postgres. So
Okay.
is this will help me to understand the Postgres if I learn this MySQL?
Of course. So, see, in a bit, I'll explain you about all the databases, whatever we have going forward. But as posters also, actually, as I said already, we are done with 2 demos, to be frank. But as we got new students today, I'll just repeat everything, whatever I taught that last 2 days quickly. So the thing is, SQL is a universal language. Whatever the concepts we have, those all the concepts are of SQL only. But to use SQL, we have different tools in the market, like different databases in the market. It can be Oracle SQL, MySQL, SQL Server, Postgres, like that. We have so many. But
Okay.
we have the basic difference. The main difference here is that SQL usually has two types. No, one is SQL and another one is no SQL. Okay, so under SQL, whatever databases list I just mentioned, all those will comes under SQL, and the concepts will be same. NoSQL in the sense that is again different. MongoDB comes under NoSQL, that is completely a different thing. So PostgreSQL, if you are listening this MySQL class, all the concepts are same. Only the user interface of the tool will be different. If you want, you can attend that course also, or else if you attend this course also, the syntaxes, the concepts, everything will be same. Especially in SQL Server, Oracle SQL, MySQL, everything will be same. When it comes to Postgres, only one difference is procedures. The usage of procedures syntax is little bit different in MySQL and Postgres, meaning everything is same.
So as a beginner, which one is the best to start to understand the
You
SQL?
you can, sorry,
As a beginner,
to understand
which one is
SQL. Okay, okay. Yeah,
SQL?
you
Which one
can
you
go
will
ahead
suggest?
with this. You can go ahead with this. This is a perfect course for you. Because
So
as you
after
mentioned, data
once,
engineer,
yes,
even
yes.
I think in my first demo I mentioned we have a concept called as normalizations, denormalizations in normal forms. In every institute, they will include this concept also, but I can say very surely, very confidently that everyone, actually this is a kind of theory concept only.
Okay.
Every other, maybe faculty will mention theory part. They will explain about the rules of normal forms. But here, I'm taking one sales data, practical, data, and I'll show how we will actually convert denormalized data to normalization, which is the actual, this thing will be done by data engineers only, not SQL developers.
Okay.
So everything practically, I'll show you how we will convert the data. Basically, denormalization is nothing but a raw data. However, from the clients, we will get raw data in an Excel files, right?
Oh, yeah.
So how we will convert that? I mean, we will by using normal forms, we will convert that, and final output, final data, whatever we will get, that will be in the form of normalization. That is nothing but the real-time database, which we will work usually in our companies. Like all the SQL developers, what they will do, they will already start working on the ready-made database. That database, from where we will get that database, in the sense data engineers will work on the raw data. They will convert, they will do all the necessary normal forms, and they will make the data in the form of normalization data. That is nothing but a real-time data actually, and that data will be sent to the SQL developers or any other developers. Okay,
so this course content will cover most of the things of the data engineer what they required. Is it correct? My
even
understanding?
SQL,
Divya?
SQL developer role also, and data engineer. Why I'm mentioning particularly about data engineering, in the sense only this concept, whatever I'll explain, whatever I'll show you practically how to convert the data, that is not required for SQL developers, to be frank. This is only required for data engineers. Remaining all concepts, whatever I'm mentioning here, those concepts are required for both, even for developers, even for data engineers.
So major part will be covered for the data engineering. Almost for the both.
Yes, for both.
Okay, thanks, Divya. Thanks for giving the clarification. So just I'm a beginner, so that's the reason I
I understand. No problem actually. And see, in every batch actually I'll get mixed students. I'll get already who are working with 5-6 years of experience into SQL. Also, they will also join just to learn some more advanced concepts like maybe CTEs, subqueries and all. Even I'll get freshers who are completely new. Even I will get some non-IT students who are looking to transfer their career to the IT. So that is the reason everything from scratch I'll explain. Like, even what is data, from there we will learn everything till the very advanced concept here.
Oh, so once done with this course, then later I can start, or parallel should I start the learning of the PostgreSQL?
One, I suggest you to watch YouTube videos once. Maximum, you feel that you already learned everything here. If you feel anything different, then you decide even whether to join or not. But maximum 90% will be covered here. So you can just watch the videos, then you can understand, the similarities between MySQL and Postgres.
Okay. So one learning of one database can work in
Is
another
enough.
database.
Enough,
Is
enough.
enough? No? Okay, we
That's
can
it.
learn.
Enough.
We can
If
work
you
on any
learn
database.
MySQL, you can work with SQL server developer, post developer, everything is same. Just like simply to be say, if we know how to use OS, Android phone, you can use OnePlus phone or you can use Samsung phone. Everything is same, right? So in the same way, only the user interface will be different. The queries, everything will be same. But as I said, in Postgres, procedures concept same, but the syntax will be a little bit different. Only procedure, stored procedure.
Okay. Actually, I'm learning the data engineer, so that is the reason I'm taking this.
Okay.
So that's it. Thanks, Divya. Thanks for the clarification.
That's okay. Anyone, any other doubts? Chiru, is this your first class or did you attend the previous demo?
Earlier, I have attended one session in the last week.
Last week, okay.
Yeah, one session I have attended.
Okay. All right. Omkar, if you have any doubts, you can go ahead and ask, or else I'll just start this, session today. But as I can see, new students, I wanted to cover one more time whatever I said in the last couple of days, right? So, but I'll make sure I'll cover everything, but I'll cover fastly only. Okay. So, whoever already attended the previous demo, if you feel the concepts are repeating, you can maybe attend tomorrow also. I mean, if you want, you can exit now and you can attend tomorrow, because I'm going to cover everything again. Okay, so let me start first of all. So first, let me give the introduction of SQL and database. And I usually we will yes, Omkar. Okay. So first of all, we know that nowadays we are generating lots and lots of data. Whatever we do today by using our smartphones, that is nothing but we are generating data only, right? In every domain, everywhere, whatever work, whatever business we do, we are generating the data, correct? If I'm talking about any Amazon platform, if I'm talking about any food delivery app like Swiggy, whatever, or else even if I talk about any single banking transaction, if we make any phone pay, any payment, any transactions, everything will be, it is nothing but it is saved in the form of data only. If it is Amazon, what will happen? If I buy any product from Amazon, all the details will be saved in the form of data. That is nothing but I'm generating some data, right? In Amazon database, how they will store the data? They will store the product details, right? About any one product, if I'm particularly talking, they will, I can able to see the product name, the price of the product, who is that particular supplier, correct? And the supplier address, and customer address, who is ordering, and the time of my order, and that my customer address, everything will be stored in their database. That is nothing but data. Actually, whatever we do today, end of the day, we are just generating the data. And we know, from last few years, we are using so much, we are doing everything in online only. We are making online shopping. We are watching many OTT platforms, right? Maybe even from the COVID time, the data generation has become so much, we increased depending on the internet. We are literally depending daily on the smartphones only, correct? So by doing everything, we are nothing but we are just generating the data. Okay, and as we are generating this much of data on daily basis, definitely there should be some good systems so that we can maintain the data, correct? There should be some good systems where we can able to store this much of huge data, and we can able to maintain this much of data. So that's where databases came into picture. As we know, previously, many years ago, everything was man-made, correct? Manually, they used to store everything in the form of registers, books, like that. Then computers came into existence. Then they started using computers, and maybe they started using Excel files, right? But that time, the data generation is very small, and they can able to maintain everything manually, or then everything in the Excel file. But nowadays, the scenario is not like that. We are generating so much of data, and we have many limitations in Excel file. If you wanted to store some, okay, like 50 rows or 100 rows, then we can manage that in the Excel file. Then what if I wanted to store some 4,000, 5,000, or 10,000 rows? It is impossible for me, correct? Because we humans, definitely we can do any errors, right? Human errors can happen. In Excel file, if I am writing any mistakes, if I do any mistakes, if I enter any irrelevant data or wrong data, it will just accept, right? It won't show me error, or it won't say me that you are entering some wrong data. So like that, we have so many limitations or so many disadvantages in Excel file, which I'll discuss going forward detailedly. We have one class on that, where I'll explain what are all the limitations of Excel file and how we overcome all those limitations by using SQL. Okay, going forward, we'll see that. But as we have that many problems or disadvantages in Excel file, database came into picture. Database is nothing but the place where we will store all the data. Okay, or else we can say collection of data, where we will store all the data basically. Okay. And then what is SQL? As we know, the full form of SQL is structured query language. We all know that. But what is exactly SQL in the sense? Let me give you one example. As I said, I'm repeating the demo again. I think only 1 or 2 students attended my previous session, but still let me repeat once again, so that if any newcomers are there, it will be easy for them to understand. I'll give you a small example where you can understand what is SQL and what is the definition of SQL very clearly. Okay, just consider there is one school or one class where I'm talking about any particular class, maybe 10th A. I think you can see my screen, right? Yeah, okay. So here in this class, they are storing the data in the form of register. Maybe the students' attendance data or student, performance, like marks data. If you remember, maybe in our childhood also, they used to store our attendance in a kind of registers, right? Like that, let's consider. In this register also, they are storing some student ID or roll number, okay? And maybe student name, maybe student attendance, and student marks. Okay. So one day, as it is 10th class, the principal of the school wanted to analyze the student's performance or attendance. Okay. Then what he did, he called the peon. He said to the peon that go to the 10th A section and bring the register for him, so that he wanted to analyze once about the student data. So peon understood. He go to the section, he took the register, he gave back to the principal, so that principal can see whatever he wanted to, right? So in the same scenario, instead of registers, let's consider we are talking about any big university. See, as I said, even we can store the data manually in any registers. If it is a little bit, where we have some 200 students, we can even store the data in Excel files also. Okay, their wish, of course. Suppose let's not talk deeply about Excel file here. Let's consider this is a big university where there are some 2000 students. Okay, something like JNTU University. They wanted to maintain all the data in the form of database. Okay. The same scenario, instead of registers, if they wanted to store the data in the form of database. Okay, this is a database. They are storing the data in the database. Okay, so in this scenario, whenever principal wanted to analyze the student's data, what he will do? In the previous example where we used to store the data in registers, what principal did? He called the peon and he said to the peon that go and bring the register. So while communicating, definitely he might use some language, right? It can be English, it can be Telugu, then only it can be Hindi, then only peon will understand what principal is saying and he can do that job. Correct. In the same way, if we store the data inside a database, here also we should use one language to communicate with the database. And that language is nothing but SQL. Okay. However, principal to convey his message, he will use one language, human language, like maybe English, Hindi, Telugu, to the peon. Then only peon will understand what exactly principal is saying or what exactly principal wants, and then he will go to the class and he will bring the register, right? In the same way, if we store the data inside the database, if I wanted to see any particular data, here I'll use a language called as SQL to communicate with the database. Clear? So in short, what is the definition of SQL? In the sense, it is a language which is used to communicate with the database. Okay, I hope now you you got some clarity about what is SQL actually. It is a language basically, because we'll store all the data inside the database. Okay, whenever we wanted to fetch any data, whenever we wanted to see any particular data, definitely we need to communicate with the database, then only we can get that particular data. So for that communication, we will use a language called as SQL. As I said, SQL is a universal declared language. All the concepts whatever we have here, that concepts belongs to SQL only. But to use those concepts, we will use so many databases. We have so many databases in the market, as we know, like Oracle SQL, MySQL, SQL Server, Postgres, like that. We have so many databases or tools in the market, right? Like maybe Oracle SQL and MySQL belongs to Oracle company, SQL Server belongs to Microsoft company, like that. We have so many databases in the market. But once you learn any database, if you are learning MySQL, if you're learning SQL Server, anything is fine. The concepts will be same, the syntaxes will be same. You can apply the same logic, same syntaxes in every other database, that which comes under SQL. Because we have something called as NoSQL also. Again, the databases which comes under NoSQL, that is completely different. The main database which we use currently, which we are using, is MongoDB from NoSQL. That is a different thing again. But whatever databases comes under SQL, all the databases you can use by using same concepts, same syntaxes, whatever we are learning in this course. Okay, very slight differences there will be there, especially in MySQL and SQL Server. In one or two concepts, slight difference is there. What is that difference? What is the what is the syntax in SQL Server? I will explain in this class. Okay, and if I talk about PostgreSQL, as I said, procedures concept is little bit different. I mean, the concept is same, the syntax will be different, remaining everything is same. Okay, so What else? So usually what we will do, first we will create the database. Inside the database, we'll create the tables, and inside tables, we will store the data. Okay. So tables will be nothing but it's a collection of rows and columns. Okay. So for example, I wrote something here. If I wanted to store employees data, here as it is an Excel file, I wrote like this. Employees is my table name, employee ID, employee name, salary. Okay. Vertical thing is called as column. Okay. Maybe you already know this. Horizontal thing is called as row. Table is always a collection of rows and columns. So here I have 3 columns. Employee ID is 1 column, employee name is 1 column, salary is 1 column, and I have 2 rows of data. This is first row of the data and this is the second row of the data. Okay. The table name will be employees, column names will be 3, employee ID, employee name and salary, and in that I have 2 rows of data. Okay, as this is Excel file, we will write like this, but in SQL, we need to use some comments, we need to use some syntax to create this table. Okay. And we have something called as RDBMS. Okay. RDBMS is nothing but Relational Database Management System. Okay. So what is RDBMS in the sense? Always SQL follows RDBMS technique only. Then what is RDBMS in the sense? As I said, we will store the data inside tables, right? So if our tables are related to each other, then we will say that database is following RDBMS technique. Okay, simple. Here, whatever tables we will create, all the tables should be related to each other. How we will create the relationship, we will discuss going forward. We have a concept called as foreign key. By using foreign key, we will create the relationship between the tables. But the thing is that all the tables should be related to each other. Then only we will say that a database is following RDBMS technique. Always SQL follows RDBMS only. Whereas in NoSQL, the tables won't be related, and that is the difference between SQL and NoSQL actually. In SQL, tables will be related. In NoSQL, there is no relationship between the tables. Okay. Is this clear? So far, whatever we covered. If you have any doubts, you can ask me, or else if it is clear, I'll just start explaining you the user interface of MySQL Workbench.
Yes,
Perfect.
proceed, ma'am.
Yeah, perfect. So MySQL, in couple of days, I'll show you the installation process of this MySQL Workbench. No worries. Okay. But now first, let's try to see the user interface of MySQL. So I'm just reopening this. Once we open this, you can able to see like this. Here you can see local instance. You need to click on it. These are all my SQL files. Okay. So here, as however in Excel files and Word documents, we already know the same options almost. This is called as menu bar. This is a toolbar. We have some options here, right? So to open a new this thing in between, whatever you can able to see, this is an SQL file in which inside SQL files only we will create, we will we can write our queries. So to open a new SQL file, we have two options. Inside file, in the menu bar, we have file option. Inside file option, you need to click on new query tab. If you click on new query tab, you can able to open the SQL file. Or else even we have a shortcut that is first icon in the toolbar, this one. Okay. So first icon in the toolbar. If you click on this, even we can open an SQL file. So it's our wish. Either inside file menu, new query tab you can click, or else the first icon in the toolbar. Anything is fine to open a new SQL file, usually where we will write all our. This is an editor page where we will write our SQL queries. Okay, and you can see something called as schemas here. And below schemas, whatever you can see, this is a list of databases available in my system. Okay, once you install this software, by default, you can able to see only sys database. Okay, you can able to see only one database, that is sys database. Later, whatever databases you will create, that databases names you can able to see in this list. Okay, and at the bottom, This is the information section basically. Whatever you select, suppose here now I selected SQL file, that is what it is showing me. Okay, if I particularly select any table, I can expand here. We have a small triangle kind of symbol, right? We can expand. Usually in every database we'll have 4 sections. Okay, that is tables, views, stored procedures, functions. We will discuss detailedly about everything going forward. Currently, let's focus on tables. So if I expand tables, here you can see I have one table name, that is employees. So whenever I select any table name, the information about this table we can able to see here in the information section. It is showing me the table name, column names, and the data types. Okay, like that. Information, this is the information section where we can able to see column names and data types of any particular table. Okay, and as I said, this is the editor page where we can write our queries. And inside this also we have some options, right? So after writing anything, if you wanted to save this file, you need to click on this save button, and you can save anywhere in the system in any folder. Okay, and if you wanted to open already saved file, you need to click on this folder icon and you can able to open whatever you want. For example, like this we can open. Okay, next, this is third button. Whatever we have, this is an execute button. Okay, so to see the output after writing any queries, we will execute, right? To execute, we need to click on this button. Okay, for now these 3 options are enough. And next, at the bottom, this is the output section. Once we execute any query, we can able to see the output here in the output section. Okay, so this is about user interface of MySQL. Okay, and I hope it is clear. Let's see, in my, as I said, we already done with classes actually, to be frank, but from today again, we reschedule this batch. So whatever I taught in the last 2 days, once again, I'll repeat, but I'm not writing again just to save the time. Usually I will, whatever I'll teach here, everything I will write here in the class only. But last 2 days, whatever I already wrote, I'm just trying to explain from that only. Okay. So as I said, database in the sense, it's a collection of data. SQL in the sense, it's a language which is used to communicate with the database. Right? Next, we have something called as comments in MySQL. I mean, in SQL. Just like in other programming languages also, like, in Java, in Python also, we have comments. In the same way, in SQL also, we have comments. Comments is nothing but if you write anything inside comments, that is non-executable. If you don't want to execute anything, you need to keep comments before that particular line. For example, you can see here, I use some symbol because I wrote this as a notes, right? So that is the reason I don't want to execute this one. This is a theory part. This is a kind of notes. So I mentioned comments here. Usually we have 2 types of comments, single line comment and multi-line comment. Single line comments, that is in single line. If you wanted to write it, use it as a comment. We have 2 symbols. Either this symbol you can use, which I already used right before every line, or else even you can use hash also, no problem. 2 hyphens or else 1 hash. This is considered as a single line comment. Suppose if you wanted to write multiple lines as a comment, then the symbol is this one. This is the start of the comment. That is, you need to write hash and star, and then this is the end of the comment. In between, whatever you wanted to write, you can write. Okay, so this is the start of the comment. This is the end of the comment. This is called as multi-line comments. How many lines you want, that many lines you can write it inside this multi-lines, inside the symbols basically, and that are non-executable. Okay. And MySQL is case insensitive. That means you can use uppercase or lowercase, no problem. It is case insensitive. And we have something called as syntax here. Syntax is nothing but, we can consider it as a rule or a formula, which we need to follow, in every concept. To do any query, we need to follow some syntaxes here. So let's try to create our first database. Okay. I already created SQL 7 database, right?
So whatever done with the 2 session, do we get those videos, Divya?
I'm explaining, Ajay, actually. I'm repeating everything. No worries.
Later, once we
Later, if you want,
subscribe.
you can, yeah, of course, you can get the videos. Even to maybe as tomorrow morning, as you attended the session, they will send you a mail. Our admin team usually send you a mail where you can find the registration process as well as the demo videos also. Or else, if not, once you join the session, they will give you folder access, right? In that also, you can able to see that videos. But whatever I discussed there, everything I'm repeating here, just I'm not writing. That's it. Okay, no worries.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So practical session, how many days it will take, like to start? Like,
Yeah, I mean, starting from this class, it will be practical only. I'll show you. I will write some in syntaxes. I'll show you how we will execute this. Main concepts only we are starting. The thing is, we got some less students, only 1 or 2 students previously, and that is the reason. I'm just once again we reschedule the batch, and we are just trying to explain everything once again.
okay. So you're starting from the scratch. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
correct. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So let's create our first database. As I said, for everything here, we will follow some syntax. Okay. So for creating database, also we have a syntax, and the syntax is create database name. Okay. So I'm writing here like create database. Let me give the database name as SQL demo. Okay. So this is my database name. We are creating our first database. So this is a syntax we need to follow. Create database name. Now I'm selecting this and I'm executing this. The third icon here is an execute button, right? So I'm just executing. It got executed here. This is the output section where you can, if you see green color like white tick mark here, that means it got successfully executed. Okay. If you get any error, you will get a red color cross mark, which we will see going forward anyways. And error message also you can able to see here itself. Now our first database is created and the database name is SQL demo. To reflect this database name in this list, we need to refresh here. You can see we have a refresh button here beside schemas. I'm just refreshing once. Now I got my new database name, that is SQL demo. If I expand this, as you can see, we have 4 sections. In every database, we will have these 4 sections. Currently, we are focusing on tables. In the next concepts, we will cover view store procedures as well. Okay, so we created our first first database. Now, the next thing what we need to do, we need to activate the database. Just a second, wait.
Actually, what is this schema means, Divya? Like,
Yeah, just a second. I'm just connecting my charger. Yeah, so schema is nothing but it's, you can consider it as a collection of databases. Something like, if you wanted to tell me one example, in our systems, we will have some drives like C drive, D drive, E drive. Suppose inside a D drive, we can just open this D drive and we can create some folders, right? Inside the folders, we will store some files. Correct? In the same way, the database space, usually we have something called a schema. Whatever this D drive will be there, this drive is inside a database. This drive is nothing but a schema. Inside schemas, we will create databases. Inside databases, we will create tables. Okay, so schema is nothing but the place where we will have all the databases. The list of databases we can find inside schemas, like inside inside D drive, you can find all the folders in our system, right? Inside C drive, inside D drive, like that. You basically first we will have something called as schemas. I mean, that will be auto-generated. Once we install the software, you can just able to see schemas here. Nothing to do with that. Just under schemas, whatever databases we will create, that databases names, you can find it here below the schemas. Clear?
thank you.
Okay, so next, as we created our database, next thing we need to activate the database. Okay, why we will activate the database in the sense, you can see we have so many databases here, right? We know that currently we created SQL demo database and we wanted to use that particular database. But to make SQL understand we wanted to use this database, first we need to activate the database. Without activating database, if you just create anything, if you create anything, it will throw us error stating no database. Just a second. See, no database is selected. This is the error which we will get. And this is what I'm saying, red color cross mark. Okay. If without activating the database, if I executed any query, it will throw us error stating no database selected. So first we need to activate the database. And of course, suppose example, in this batch, I wanted to use SQL demo. In the next batch, I wanted to use SQL demo 1. But if I forget to activate SQL demo 1 and if I execute any query in the next batch, that query will be executed in SQL demo itself. That is also one thing. If none of the databases are select, then only we will get the error. But whatever database is currently activated, if I wanted to use any other database and if I forget to activate that database, the syntax will be again executed under this database only. So every time before using, first we need to activate the database, then only we need to make sure that we need to check once whether the database is, whatever database we wanted to use, that is activated or not. Okay, so to activate the database, the syntax is use database name. Okay, so use SQL demo. Just selecting this. Now you can see it went into dark bold color, right? It got highlighted. This, by seeing like this, it will indicate that SQL demo database is got activated. And currently next, whatever queries I will execute, all the queries will be executed under this database only. Okay. So every time daily also before we started working, we need to check, we need to make sure activate the database and we need to execute any queries inside. Okay. So we understood about what is database, what is SQL. We understood the user interface of MySQL. We created our first database. We activated the database. Next thing is we need to create the tables. Okay. So for creating table, we need to use create command. This is a command. Next, going forward, we will have sub-languages concept actually. We have 5 types of sub-languages in SQL. Under each language, we have some commands. So like that, under DDL, we have create command, which going forward, we'll see about sub-languages concept. But under DDL, we have create command. As we wanted to create our table now, let's understand create command here only. Okay, basically by using create command, we can create any database object. Database object is nothing but it can be table, it can be view, it can be stored procedures. Okay, if you want to create table also, you will use create command only. If you want to create view also, you will use create command only, like that. The syntaxes will be different, but basically create command is used to create any database objects. Okay, for now we are focusing on tables only. So now let's see about the create syntax for creating table. Okay, so the syntax will be create table. Do you want me to write everything? If you really want, I'll just open a new file and I'll write. If it is okay for you to explain me like this, I'll just explain from here. It's up to you, Ajay, Omkar. Do you want me to write again? Or is this fine? Okay. All right, so let me continue then. Perfect. So yeah, the create syntax will be create table name. So I wanted to create our first table, and this we will use create command for that, and the syntax will be create table name. Then we need to use parenthesis. Parenthesis is nothing but brackets. We need to open the bracket, and how many columns you wanted to use inside that table, that many columns we need to create. Like column name 1, but for every column here, suppose in Excel file, what we did, employees table I wrote, under employees I used 3 columns, employee ID, employee name, salary. Okay, as this is Excel file, we will just write normally like this, but in SQL, for every column name, we need to define the data type. What is data type? I'll just explain. Okay, first inside tables, we need to define column names, and for every column names, we will define the data type. So we will write the syntax like this: column name 1, data type of that particular column. Next column name 2, data type of that particular column. Like that, how many columns we want, that many columns we can write. And then we need to close the bracket. Okay, so I wanted to create employees table. So I wrote create table employees, and within the brackets, I mentioned the column names, what I'm expecting inside this table. So employee ID, employee name, salary, date of joining. 4 columns I wanted to include here. So I wrote, but for every column, we need to define the data type also. So what is data type? First, we will understand. Then we will see how many data types are there. Then we will come back to creating table. Okay. So first we need to understand what is data type here. For that, see here in Excel file, I wrote like this, right? So employee ID I mentioned, employee name I gave, salary I give. Maybe let me give date of joining column also. Okay. So I use some dates here. Right? As this is Excel file, as I said, we have so many limitations in Excel file, right? So all the limitations we will learn going forward, but in that one limitation, let me explain you now. Suppose I'm having salary column here, I entered some data. As we know, we are humans, we can do any mistakes. In salary column, instead of 70,000, if I enter some random data, it is accepting, right? It is not throwing me any error. It is not saying me that this is salary column. You need to enter numbers only. You are entering some textual data. It is not mentioning like that. Whatever I'm entering, it is just accepting, correct? In dates, instead of dates, if I write anything also, it is accepting. Usually in date column, the data should be in the date format, right? But if I give anything, if I give any number, if I give any textual data, it is just accepting, right? This is the one of the biggest drawback of Excel file. Okay, if you enter any wrong data, if you enter any irrelevant data, it won't throw us any error. It will just accept whatever we give. So this is one of the biggest drawback of Excel file, because we usually maintain huge data. If we are maintaining huge data in Excel files, definitely being humans, we can do any errors, we can do any mistakes. If it is accepting whatever we are writing, whatever we are giving without providing any errors, then that will be huge mess, right? So that is the biggest drawback here. So this drawback, we overcome this problem by using data types concept in SQL. Okay, data types is nothing but while defining every column, we will define some data types, and according to that data type only, we can able to enter. Ajay, okay. All right. So according to the column names only, we need to, for every column, we will define the data types, and according to the data types only, we can enter the values. So what is data type? In the sense, actually, data types only will decide what kind of values we can enter inside any column. Okay, what kind of values we can enter in any particular column will be decided based on data types only. So first, let's see how many data types are there, then you can understand clearly. So usually we have, mainly in real time, we will use 3 types of databases very frequently. So in that, first one is numerical data type, or even we can say numeric data type. Okay, and the second one is character or string data type. Third one is date time data type. Okay, this first one, numeric data type. Second one, character data type, and the third one is date time data type. So in numeric data type is nothing but if you wanted to store numbers, you will use numeric data type. If you wanted to store textual data, you will use character data type. If you want to store dates, you will use date time data type. So again, this data types further divides into few types. That is in numeric data types. Again, this will, just a second. In this numeric data type, again, we have 2 types of data types, that is int and float. Suppose if you wanted to store only numbers, then you can define int, but sometimes we will store decimal values also, right? So if you wanted to store decimal values, you need to define float data type, okay? But if you define float, normal numbers also it will accept, decimal numbers also it will accept. But if you define int, only it will accept numbers. If you are entering any decimal values, it won't accept, okay? So while defining a column name, if you know that if you are expecting any decimal values, then you can define float data type. Okay, in int only numbers, in float decimals and numbers. Okay, next for character, Next, for textual data, we have character data type, which we can also say it as string data type. Okay, both are same. So here also we have two types, char and varchar. So what is char, what is varchar, I'll explain you in a while, or maybe in the tomorrow's session. Okay. Next, we have date and time data type. Again, here also we have two data types. One is date data type, another one is date time data type. Only if you wanted to store dates, then you will use date data type. Along with the date, if you wanted to store time, you will use date time data type like this. Okay. Only date in the sense date data type. Date and time, if you wanted to store, then date time data type. But we'll have one format here to store the dates. Every time you need to use that. Every time you need to use that format only. And the format is like this: year, month, date. Suppose if you use date first, then month, then year, it won't accept. It will throw us error. Only this format is acceptable: year, month, and date. And for date time, year, month, date, then hour, minute, and second. Okay. This is a format only is accepted by SQL for dates. Okay. And then sometimes we have another data type also, that is Boolean data type, where it will accept only two values, that is true and false. But mostly these three data types only we will use in real time. Okay. So I hope you understood about what is data types and what the types of data types. Any doubts? Of course, char and varchar I'll explain, but remaining everything, is that clear? Perfect. So as we understood the data types, now let's get back to this create table syntax. Because for every column name, we wanted to define data types, right? Now let's create our employees table. So here, first column name is employee ID. I want to store numbers here. So I defined int as a data type. For employee name, this is a character data, textual data. So I gave char as data type. What is char? What is varchar? What is the difference between them? I'll explain tomorrow. But here, let me explain one point, that whenever we are defining character data, we will define size also. That is nothing but here, after writing char, within the brackets, I defined the size. I wrote 10 here. 10 is nothing but the size for employee name. So what is this size here? What this will do in the sense, I defined some size here for employee name. That is nothing but I'm allocating some memory for the employee name column. 10 I defined 10 as the size here. That is 10 bytes of memory I allocated for the employee name column. And in each byte of memory, I can store each character. That is 1 byte, 1 character I can store. So as I defined 10 as size here, that is I defined 10 bytes of memory for employee name column. So I am allowed to enter up to 10 characters only in the employee name column. That is any name, if you wanted to write here, the name should be, up to 10 letters only. If I'm entering an 11 letter word or 12 letter word, it will throw me error. Like that. How much data we were expecting in that column, that much size we can define here. Okay. That is about this this size. We need to particularly mention the size inside the brackets. Then what is char? What is varchar? Let's see tomorrow by taking one example. For now, I defined char. Okay. And I defined size as 10 for employee name column, so that I can enter up to 10 letter word in this particular column name. Next, salary, sometimes I can expect decimal values also. So I gave float as a data type. Next, date of joining, I gave date as a data type. Correct? At the end, we need to close the bracket. And this is about the employees table syntax. Let's execute this. The table got created. Okay. So now to see this table name here, again, I need to refresh here. I'm just refreshing. Now you can see I can able to expand tables. I got my first table, then the table name is employees. If I'm selecting the table name here, it is showing me about the information here in the information section. Table name is employees. 4 columns I have: employee ID, employee name, salary, date of joining. And these are the data types what I gave: int, char, float, and date for particular column names, right? Like that. So this is about create table syntax. Okay, this is how we will create our table. I hope it is clear up to here, whatever we discussed till now. Whatever I discussed today in the today's class, is there any doubts? Actually, I wanted to show you course content. Just give me 2 minutes. Let me quickly show you the course content which we'll cover in this course. Okay, so first introduction of database and tables, which we are done today. Limitations of Excel file, I'll explain you in a couple of days. Creation of database and tables, we are done today. MySQL installation, once we are done with demo classes, I'll show you the installation process. Data types also we are done. Okay, this now tomorrow we will start our main concept, that is SQL sub-languages. As I said, we have 5 types of sub-languages in SQL. Under each sub-language, we have so many commands. All these commands we will learn very practically by creating or by solving some examples. Next, integrity constraints. We have some integrity constraints in SQL like primary key, foreign key, not null constraint, check constraint, unique constraint, default constraint. Like that, we have some constraints. Every constraint we will learn practically by solving the examples. So up to here, up to integrity constraints, all these concepts are very basics of SQL. So to understand these basics, I'll usually use some normal tables only, basic tables like maybe employees tables, orders table, customer table, like that. Random tables we will create and we will use. Once we are done with these basics, here I'll give you the real-time database. The specialty of my course is that we will use some real-time database to learn all the concepts here. Because, of course, if we learn all the concepts and syntax as well also, once we joined in any company, we will deal with real-time data and the data will be huge there. So in learning process only, if we learn all the concepts by using huge data, by using real-time database, it will be, a kind of, you will get some kind of hands-on experience on dealing with the databases, right? So that is the reason, instead of using some small sample tables, sorry, small sample tables, I'll give one real-time database for you. That is a movies database. Even you can consider that as an OTT platform database. So first I'll show you the database. I'll explain you that database. I'll show you how to restore this database into your systems. Then we will start our main concepts. Okay. The next concept from here, all the concepts I will explain by using this database only, by solving many examples practically. Next concept will be operators and clauses. We have some operators and clauses in SQL. Both concepts are related to each other. That is the reason we will learn collectively. We have some clauses like where clause, order by clause, distinct clause, limit clause. Okay. So all the clauses we will learn, and along with that we have some operators like and, or, not, in operator, between operator, like operator. Everything we will discuss detailing by examples. Especially like operator. Like operator is nothing but if you wanted to, fetch any data based on any particular pattern matching of the data. Based on any pattern, if you wanted to see the data, then you will use like operator. Okay, which is very useful. We have some wildcards in like operator, everything we will learn. Next, functions. Inbuilt functions we have in SQL. All the functions are divided into this type, like numeric functions, character functions, date functions, aggregate functions. Under each section, we have so many functions. We will learn everything detailing. Okay. Next, most important concept is joins in SQL. I mean, in SQL, I believe joins is the backbone of SQL. However, SQL is a backbone for complete IT industry. Whatever domain you choose, whatever job role you choose, definitely you need to have knowledge on SQL. It is a must subject, right? In that, joins is a kind of how much perfectly you learn joins, that much perfectly you will you can make some foundation for your SQL part. So joins is very important. We have so many joins here, like inner join, left join, right join, outer join, self join, cross join, natural join, and full join. All the joins we will learn very practically by solving many examples and by using real-time database only. And only for this particular joins concept, as this is important, only for this topic, what I'll do, not only examples, whatever I'll explain in the class, I'll give some practice questions or assignment questions for you. And I'll give some time like 1 week or 10 days. Whenever you get some time, just try to solve those questions. No need of submitting for me. And once you are ready, maybe like after 1 week or 10 days, I'll explain those answers in the class so that you can only recheck by yourselves. You can understand whether you can able to solve joins or not. Okay, just as an, I wanted to, as this is important, I'm just following this process only for joins. Okay, I'll give some questions, I'll give some time. You can able to solve by that questions, and you can check yourselves how much you can able to solve them, how much you understood this concept. Okay. Next, we have regular expressions, very important concept. If it is data analytics, if you choose full stack development in every domain, regular expressions is useful. Again, regular expressions, just like operator, regular expressions also is used for pattern matching only, but we have so many options here that is called as anchors. We will discuss detailing. Along with the clauses, whatever we discussed previously, we have some more clauses like group by clause and having clause, and using aggregate functions inside group by clause. Basically, to solve these examples, if you learn joins, we can solve better examples. That is the reason this clauses we will learn after learning joins. Okay. Next, subqueries. We have many types of subqueries like correlated subquery, non-correlated subquery, single row subquery, multi-row subquery. Everything we will discuss detailing. Next, normalization, denormalization, normal form. As I said, this concept for SQL developers, it will be a kind of theory part only, not that necessary. But for data engineers, they will work mostly on this, normal forms concept. Basically, we will get some raw data from the clients. Data engineers are the ones who will convert that raw data into a perfect database. The data which we got from the client, that will be a raw data, and that data will be in the form of denormalized data. Then by using normal forms, we have 3 normal forms. We have some rules in that normal forms. By following that rules, we will convert our denormalized data into a perfect normalized form. That is nothing but a perfect database. Data engineers will follow this process. And once after following this normal forms, the perfect database will be created. That database will be, provided to all the SQL developers or any other job roles. Okay. So I'll use one sales data, real-time data, and I'll show how we will convert denormalized data to normalized form practically. Okay. This is also one more specialty in our course, which you can't expect in another institutes or another courses. Usually no one will show you practically how we will convert this data. Okay. Next, ER diagrams, views, indexes, all these concepts are very important. Temporary tables, we have special use cases for this. If you wanted to remove duplicate data at a time in real time, at a time, if you wanted to remove some duplicate rows, you can use temporary tables concept. CT is one more very advanced concept called as common table expression. Okay. Stored procedures, which we will use very frequently in real time. We can do our daily tasks very easily by using stored procedures. Then we have window functions. We have 5 types of window functions. Okay. This is also very important and very advanced concept. So everything we will cover here. At the end, we will discuss some interview questions also. This is a course content which we are going to cover in our course. And as you know, the course duration is 35 days. Okay. Course fees is only 3,000. If you are interested, you can just get registered with us. Okay. We are already done with the time. So let me please end the session here. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Please follow the same link and connect tomorrow. We'll continue the class tomorrow. Okay. In the same link, maybe they are having another class. That is the reason they are calling me. So I think it is clear, right?
Yes, yes.
Perfect. All right, then let's meet tomorrow. Bye.